It's been 2 years since I got married, and I still remember my wedding day like it was yesterday. And there are a lot of things I think, if given a second chance to recreate those scenarios, I'll probably do different. And I just thought that someone out there who wants to know the things to avoid and the things to take note of when planning for your wedding. I don't regret sewing my wedding gown, right? I would have stood by that choice till tomorrow. But my traditional ways, if someone had told me that, okay, I think they told me, I didn't want to listen. So if I am to turn back the hand of time, I wouldn't have gone that big on my traditional dresses. I would have basically done something basic, because after that day, true till now, I've not put my body into those clothes again. Like, things just happened, and then I got pregnant, and then they don't fit no more. I'm now a different size, so those clothes, I don't even know what I'm going to do to them. They are still in my wardrobe. They are just lying there. So I just feel like I wouldn't have spent that much money, because I spent quite some money to create those traditional ways, right? I just feel like I wouldn't have gone that road. But my pictures, basically, sometimes it tells me that, okay, maybe you made the right decision. But sewing clothes for to just wear for one day, clothes that are not going to be functional, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's something I would have loved to change. The people you think are going to come through for you on your wedding day will definitely not be the people to come through for you. If I'm being sincere, I would say that I don't have so much friends. I'm very picky about my friends. I'm very picky about the people I let into my life. So, and I'm a very constricted person. Like, I'm a loner. I always like my space. So the people I let into my life are people that I know are concrete people. So they are not so much. So when it was time for my wedding, basically I drafted 10 persons to be on my ashebi, because I didn't want bridesmaids. And somehow, out of those 10, it was only 4 people that finally came through. Others were constrained by one or two things. I don't want that. Like, some persons were genuinely constrained, and some persons just gave excuses why they couldn't be on my Ashobi. Most of the people that were giving me excuses and everything were people I thought I could rely on, people I thought would not miss my wedding, would not, like, would want to, show up for me. But it was what it was. A day to my wedding, like the eve of my wedding, I found myself being totally stressed out. Like, up until 11, I was out and about. I was making calls, I was here, I was there. Like, I didn't even have time to even be with my girls. I didn't have time to have all those plays that people do, those plays that people have, and everything. We started the preparation for my wedding on time, but when my husband lost his dad, we kind of relaxed, and then before we knew it, everything was choking and all that. 3 days to my wedding, a lot of details kept coming in, and being someone that has never really um been, like, in a wedding, I'm the first daughter, of course, so I've not really been in a place where they plan for wedding, so I didn't really know what and what to look out for. So it basically choked me. So the eve of my wedding was a lot. Like, I slept around 2 and I had to wake up by 4. So I was tired. So what would I have changed in that situation? I feel like, if given a second chance, I would basically have gotten someone, maybe a planner. Yeah. If given a second chance, I would have gotten a planner, definitely. I'm sure I'm not going to mind paying some bucks to relieve me of some stress. I would have gotten a planner. So yeah, that's the second one. Getting a planner for myself. The first one is that I already said it. The people you think are going to come through for you are people that will not come through, and the people you did not expect to come through for you are the people that will come through for you, because There are a lot of persons too that I did not expect to come through for me. Those persons totally came through for me, and I'm grateful for those persons. The third one is quality is always going to be better than quantity. I'm going to give you a classic example. Now, when we were choosing my wedding, like the person that was going to bake my cake, so my very good friend opted to like we're going to pay her to bake the cake, right? And she gave us a price, and she told us that she was going to do 3 tiers of cake, and it was a certain price, right? I know my friend does very good cakes. I was excited that she was going to be the one to make my cakes. And then my auntie basically came and told us that okay, she was going to take on the load of doing the cake and all that, because she felt like this other person was cheaper, and the person that she wanted to use was cheaper. And another person was saying that she was going to give us 3 tiers of cake plus traditional cake plus cut and everything for a certain amount. And she just said, okay, since this one is cheaper, my friend is trying to rip us off. So she will foot this bill. Ladies and gentlemen, on the day of my wedding, the cake came out. I don't think I was, the cake was just there, sha. It was not bad facially, right? So we took our pictures and everything. And after the wedding, we shared the cake naturally. Gave one part to my people, gave the second part to my husband's people, and then we took the last part, right? Ah, that cake didn't get to the house. Like, it pretty much turned to sand. When immediately we put knife inside, that cake turned to sand. It was just breaking. I didn't understand what was going on. Like, I had to call my husband's mom, and I asked her. She, before we even asked her that, okay, how far, how is this cake, like, she called to say, who did this cake for us? I was like, what is going on? Then I called my own people. My mom said that the thing was breaking, but not so bad. The taste was not so impressive, if you ask me. It was just there. So my those the cake, even the first tier was a little bit better. It was maybe because there was no load on it. But you see that second and third one, we took this the third one, the last lap, which is bigger, right? My husband took the second part. It was sand. It was my parents that pretty like were able to get something out of that cake. So we couldn't even, that kind of a thing when someone did you a favor, you cannot even now go wild. You can't say things. You can't express your feelings, you can't express your disappointment, you can't express. Oh, the person that other asked her to do the cake for us, right? She was deciding the cake person. She was like, she does cake for me naturally. Her cakes are this, her cakes are that. I'm like, oh, okay. We couldn't just talk. Like, we're speechless. And then when we even called the woman, she was trying to give excuses, this and that. And then she told us that okay, to compensate us, she's going to give us 6 inches cake because she has a wedding. So she's going to give us 6 inches layered cake on ice. What is that going to do for us? My husband just said, I beg, let her carry herself and her wahala and just be going, like, done and done with. So we just close that chapter. So quality is always going to be better than quantity. And from this same particular story, I feel like if next if I'm if given a second chance to organize my wedding, I probably don't want to get so much favor from people, because that one now it choked us. We couldn't even talk and everything. The cake was, the next one is go for what you want. So when you are planning for your wedding, a lot of persons want to interject their opinions and everything, and want to basically tell you what to do or what not to do and all that. I just feel like it's your wedding, so you decide. Like, a lot of persons told me, don't sew your wedding gown, rent it. I decided to sew it, and I sewed it, and it suits me, and I was happy about it. I want to beat my chest and say I made this decision by myself and I'm going to face those decisions. So nobody should stress me, right? So go for what you want. After all said and done, the next point is that you just got your family. Your family is always going to be the people that are going to hold your back and everything. So um I think for me, my parents, the way they came through during my wedding, like we were pretty much prepared for my wedding, my husband and I. We did not want crowd. My dad is somebody that everybody knows because in our area, and he has a lot of friends, he has a lot of associations, a lot of organizations and everything. So is we if we had told him how prepared we were, I'm sure he would not have prepared himself as much as he did, right? But we just minimized our preparations to him, and he came through. And the fact that whenever I needed them during that period, they were there. My younger sisters, everybody wowed me. Like I, like I was shocked at the support. I'm not. I don't know the words to use, but it just everything that happened then with them coming through, with them being there, you might want to say okay, is their duty and all that. Sometimes it's not their duty. Or some persons, some parents, have seen a lot of parents that will just wait for you to do everything and all that. I can tell you for a fact that there was nobody that came to my wedding that did not eat. We were prepared as a couple. My mom and my dad were extremely prepared. Like they made their own food. So where my caterer sef was did not even get to, my mom made sure she got there. Like my mommy, at a point after they had finished serving everybody, my mommy went from table to table asking, have you eaten? Do you want something? I was sure about that. So I know that if you came to my hall, you had to have eaten something. Nobody, there was nobody that came to that hall. The one person that even told me that, oh, I did not eat something, video captured him eating. So it was just that one person. So I'm sure that no, except you did not want to eat, but if you wanted to eat, there were a variety of things. Like at the end of the day, at the end of that my wedding, the food that were remaining, both of my mom cooked, my we cooked, my husband's people still cooked and came for that. Ah, omo, family will always be family, sha. So don't underestimate them and don't joke with them and don't play with them because they're the people that you when the chips are down, when everything is not like when everybody abandons you and everything, they are the ones. Because I pretty much saw my mom having sleepless nights, running helter skelter and all. She will call me, Kinichi, are you sure you are prepared? Have you done this? Have you done that? My family tried for me, Sha. That's just what I'm going to say. So that's basically why I said that family first. The next point will be it's not a competition. You might want to tell yourself that you want the biggest wedding in town. Another wedding will beat your wedding 100 times. Get? And it's not about wedding, it's about marriage. You can have the best wedding and not the best marriage. So just cut your coat according to your size. Like do as your pockets reach. I just said that we didn't want crowds, so we downplayed our preparedness to our parents, and we basically told them, guy, this is the number of people we want at the wedding. I didn't tell a lot of people. Like there were when after my wedding, like 3 months after my wedding, people kept saying, you don't marry, you don't tell us say you don't marry. People were angry with me. Like, but I knew that if I told people, we didn't tell people my hall was filled to the brim. Like, and my hall was big. My hall was not a small hall, my hall was big. So my hall was filled to the brim. We didn't tell people. Now imagine that we told people. We told people that okay, we're getting married. At the end of the day, Sha, the food was enough and there were leftovers, but it was better that people ate and were satisfied than they came, food did not reach. So omo, big wedding, small wedding, at the end of the day, nobody's who is counting? Who is actually counting? You are counting. Like I just said, it's better to have a shabby wedding and a best marriage than to have a best marriage and a best than to have a best wedding and a shabby marriage, because the work the work begins inside your marriage. You know, when I just got married, like a month, 2 months into my wedding, into my marriage, I was like, I thought people were saying that there's a lot of shaggy banza inside marriage. What is going on? Because I'm not seeing nothing. If this is how marriage is, why have I not gotten married since? Hey, gay. The shaggy banza that marriage will show you. I'm not saying that maybe I'm suffering in my marriage, but marriage has its own shades of shaggy banza that you necessarily need to be prepared for. They did not tell us well about a lot of things. When the children comes, the dynamics of of your wedding pretty much changes. So you might, yeah, just maybe one of these days I might share one or two of those things that marriage has taught me. But for now, marriage is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I I would recommend being married, but at the end of the day, I will also recommend you being prepared for marriage, because marriage is not for the faint-hearted. I know I didn't introduce myself. I'm Josephine Kenichi, your baby girl for life. If you've seen this video to this point, you are the true MVP. Click on the subscribe button. Share this video to someone that is about getting married, that is preparing for marriage safe. Share this video to them so that they learn it, too. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Oh, it's a one-day thing. The marriage is where you should be paying attention to. And with that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.